I mean, again, it's ridiculous when you think about it every time we do this. When it comes to AEW pay-per-views, primarily in the focus, this is truly what we are about. This is what we came to be. This is how we became known as Eric Brown's part of the Chaos too. Once again, guys, it's once again our time. We are back here. It is our anniversary. What started with a group of friends in 2020 grew into its own brand in 2021 as we ushered in a revolution in professional wrestling that has led to only more progression. And we are here once again at the cusp of the 5th ever AEW Revolution. Why do I say all this? Because simply put, we're going to talk about this and more, for we represent AEW because we are truly about all things wrestling. God bless this industry. Hello, my friends and fam and everybody and crew and those that watch too. Welcome back once again to the AEW Review Impromptu, episode 51. Our anniversary as this started at Revolution 2020, and we are back here now at AEW Revolution 2024, the 5th AEW Revolution in All Elite Wrestling history. Before we get into tonight's agenda, predictions, discussion, I'm sure further chaos galore, let's go ahead and see how you all are feeling and see how you all look forward towards what's in store. First off, he just arrived after our watch-along party as always. He is the Inquirer, the bearer of all things news. Blurs the line between reality and professional wrestling and sports entertainment. But I digress. Eric, good to see you. How are you and your family? How you feel about AEW Revolution?
Well, I'm excited, even though I have not watched any wrestling for the past month or so.
Good on you. Sometimes that's a good thing. Cleanse your brain.
Mostly because of all the drama that happened in November. I mean, in January at the end when Vince got sued, Scott D'Amore got fired because, of course, and the TNA roster on riot mode, more or less.
Yeah, it's a unique circumstance, but
according to what, there's been an update from Alex McCarthy
about what?
About Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre, yes, his future completely still not fully known among so many others.
So, according to Better Wrestling Experience, Drew McIntyre has signed a new deal.
Good for him. It sounds like to me that the biggest. Go ahead.
Alex McCarthy of the Daily Mail says that not only has he not signed a new contract, talks aren't even close to being finalized.
Ooh.
And they hope to reach a deal before WrestleMania is over.
Well, I mean, I think like WrestleMania's got to be a turning point. Now that we know, why don't we go ahead and slowly talk a little bit about what's happened lately in all things wrestling. WWE had Monday Night Raw in Australia.
Vince McMahon and all the WWE cultists are gone crazy, and the fact that WWE is built on a horrible cult.
Well, political and corporate structure aside, the hardworking men and women of the company with the softest style alive, they gave Elimination Chamber down under in Australia. Great coming home moment for Rhea Ripley. Glad you had a WrestleMania moment before WrestleMania. Congratulations to Becky Lynch and Drew McIntyre on winning the Chamber matches. And Chamber felt more like an extended version of Monday Night Raw, but the atmosphere of the audience made it feel pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool show overall. And now we have 4 official matches known for WrestleMania. It will be the Man versus Mommy. It will be Drew McIntyre versus Seth freaking Rollins, where some risks are worth taking. It will be, of course, as we know, Bayley versus Io Sky. And also, hopefully, to finish his story, it will be Cody Rhodes taking on Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And that's all we know so far about WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Imagine after everything he's been pushed, Drew McIntyre ends up leaving. Imagine that.
I could see it. Again, sometimes, in this industry, it's not just about money. Truth be told, I will not deny, WWE is the biggest pay that you can get in a wrestling career because sports entertainment is still some form of wrestling, even if it more feels like a reality show. At the end of the day, though, sometimes you aren't just in it for the money. You want that sort of control, that perspective, that respect. You want something that gravitates you as a character on screen. And I think Drew McIntyre, along with some others, have had that dispute quite literally quite a period of time. But I will say this about Drew McIntyre's current run right now into the WrestleMania program. it feels like his character is a lot stronger than it has been in quite a while.
Here's the thing. Drew is perfectly happy with his creative direction. Yes, so he's happy on that. It's just that WWE is like, hey, so we just got like $1 billion with Netflix. Does that mean I'm going to get my well-deserved raise now? ... Hold on that.
Boop, boop, boop. That being said, King, what's your thoughts so far on the WrestleMania 40 outlook? We got 4 matches, and they're all regarding championships. And on paper, they all look pretty promising. And so far, what they're telling as the stories go for each match, it's somewhat interesting. I want to say it again. For what it's worth with Triple H, thank you. He's made this the most interesting WrestleMania for me since WrestleMania 19, more than one match. And we only got 4 so far.
But also, there's one person added to this factor. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh,
because of the fact that Cody challenged The Rock and even Seth threw out the challenge to The Rock. So something tells me on both nights. Go ahead, Eric, before I finish.
Yeah, I actually had an update on that.
Go ahead, lay it on us.
Okay, let me just give you a little bit backstory on this part here. So I have been saying for months, okay, why can't Roman work both nights? One against The Rock and one against Cody.
Right.
And every time when I asked that question, the only response I got was Roman working 2 nights? Oh, impossible. And I'm like, well, now he's set to wrestle both nights with The Rock in a tag team match. So what's the excuse? I'm like, you could have had Cody wrestle night 1 against Solo Sikoa in a revenge match and whatnot. Like Bret Hart worked both nights and one night. 2 matches, and one of them was with his brother, with Owen Hart, which was awesome.
One of the best.
And the other one was Yokozuna.
Yeah.
You could. In fact, I kept saying Cody could lose to Solo Sikoa on night 1 and then beat Roman on night 2. Then you have a foundation to get Solo to go after Cody to continue the storyline and have Solo versus Cody at pay-per-view, and then we can just do stuff after that.
Right.
But everyone kept telling me, like, why can't Roman wrestle 2 nights, even though now he clearly is? Because he's Roman. And I was like, but wouldn't that be more of a WWE problem, considering they would have given that kind of substantial power to one guy, and we all know what happened to the last people that had that kind of power?
I'm pretty sure somebody said that no one person is bigger than the WWE, and I feel like that still holds up to this day, even if he's on the board in the merger of TKO. So, again, what's your excuse? What's your excuse? You don't have an excuse. So, for me, it just seems like here's the thing: WrestleMania is 2 days, right? We know we got 4 championship matches, right? All of them were determined by Royal Rumble winners and Elimination Chamber winners. That makes sense. So clearly, you would think the Royal Rumble winners are your 2 most important ones, and the Chamber winners are your follow-ups. But they still have not told us which matches are on which day. They still have the simple April 6th, April 7th. To your point, Eric, we know also now, after what happened last night on Monday night, damn it. We know what happened on Monday night on Monday Night Raw. I'm tracking. That Cody Rhodes says that he's hunting the bloodline, and Paul Heyman put out 2 stupid-ass giant smartphones and said, call Roman, call The Rock. And it sounds like they're going to try and push this thing out to the point I think they are going to do what you say. I think they are going to test the waters here and do the tag match on night 1 and both the World Heavyweight and the WWE Championship matches on night 2. It's the only way it makes the most sense.
But you want to know the thing that sucks about that idea, though?
What?
Bayley would get the shaft again.
Yeah, because of the way she's been promoted on this road to WrestleMania has been, my goodness, like why
like Bianca is in her place.
And it's like, why? Like, Bianca's not even in a championship match. Bayley is. Like, why is she getting shafted all of a sudden? Like, did she make someone higher up mad or something?
You would think. What, Noah?
I think I just forgot that Bailey exists, and it's freaking pissing me off. But I'm not going to rant tonight because that's not what this is about. At least not right now. Anyway, go ahead, Eric. Say your piece, and then I'll get back to King.
But like when I was seeing all this promotion and whatnot, and then WWE decided to promote Bailey's 2K24 model, and I was like, wow, that is awful. What the hell?
Yeah, her model looks disgusting.
Is it that bad?
That bad to where Bailey tweeted and was like, what?
Yeah, so it's like WWE's like, hey Bailey, we know you did a lot for us. Like you carried us through the pandemic and we screwed you over after that, and we're still kind of screwing you over now, but
yeah, because your best friend is about to be signed in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it seems. I mean,
actually it's been reported that she's been signed the whole time. It's just that they just like, let's wait on that.
Why am I not surprised? I mean, let's be honest here. Ever since she showed up in Wembley Stadium, which, again, was the biggest event in wrestling history, damn it! But I digress. I don't digress anymore, excuse me. But it just felt like, for me, it kind of was like, it was already there. Again, I think Tony Khan is trying to do more with the women's division. We'll talk more about that later. Anyway, besides the fact that Bailey has a worse model in WWE video game than insert name here, what else do you all want to talk about when it comes to Bailey's outlook in the WWE ecosystem and the lack of respect it seems thereof?
Well, I got a question. What was Raquel Rodriguez doing at Elimination Chamber?
And she was in the Elimination Chamber match, wasn't she?
Yeah. I guess what I just found out.
That she had that suffering disease, whatever, that popped back up?
Yeah, the mast cell activation.
There it is.
Oh, no.
That's why she wasn't wearing makeup and why she seemed out of it.
Oh, dear. Well, again, I hope that she's okay, because that is no laughing matter. I'm just going to say that for the record right now. Don't put someone's health in question. Anyway,
also, we have another story from the liar Hulk Hogan.
Oh, brother.
Sorry, Jeff, but Jeff probably is aware of it. Go for it.
Hulk Hogan came out and said the head of Paramount told him this. You're gonna be the next John Wayne. Yeah, we don't believe that.
I got nothing. Believe in Joe Hendry.
Speaking of lying through your teeth, okay, like we all know, Impact Anthem fires Scott D'Amore.
Yes. Unfortunately.
And we're all pissed about it.
Yes, we are.
The roster's pissed. They even went out on the show before the show started at No Surrender and aired their grievances collectively as a unit.
Which was a good mission statement from Eric Young.
Which also makes me say, why weren't we getting this kind of energy when WWE was trying to take away their third-party rights?
Fair.
Yeah. But here was my other thing I found out. Guess what I heard?
What?
The TNA roster and everyone else was agreeing this is all Anthem's fault that Scott D'Amore is gone. And then one guy came in and was like, have you considered it was probably AEW?
Oh, brother, I know who you're talking about.
And I was like, shut up, Bischoff.
There it is.
Yeah, Bischoff's got a different outlook.
I was just confused by that because I was like, how did AEW do this? Did they do corporate espionage or did they pay him off? No, he's trying to say this. This was what Bischoff was saying. He was saying this. Oh, it's because AEW's content is the reason why. Their presentation, their violent content is the reason why Impact Wrestling lost Scott D'Amore, even though Impact has been around longer than AEW, and I was the reason I crippled the promotion because me and Hogan had to have our kinks in.
And it's basically Bischoff has AEW living rent-free in his head, and it's going to continue to stay like that.
Unfortunately, as long as it's put up into his own
here's
face.
The thing. Everyone keeps saying Bischoff's only doing this because he didn't get hired. And I'd be like, that's dumb. I'm like, but like, that's not the reason why Bischoff hates AEW or Tony Khan in particular. I know the real reason, and it's actually more pathetic.
I like to hear this one.
Eric Bischoff hates Tony Khan and AEW from, let's see, a tweet from nearly 2 to 3 years ago. That didn't even talk about him. It was talking about Ted Turner, where Tony Khan was saying, I know more about the wrestling business than Ted Turner. And I was like, okay, he just said that, okay. And then, but Bischoff never let that go, even though it had nothing to do with him. And really, the only argument you could make about Ted Turner and WCW is that he loves wrestling. He just kept throwing money at it. That's it. He didn't work the shows or book it.
Again, you throw money at something random without context. It's just a big, fat, steaming pile of you know what that festers until it no longer exists.
Yeah, that has apparently set Bischoff off. He has been like this for nearly 3 years now. Over a
and
tweet
he's never going to let it go.
Remember,
well, until you mature beyond the past, you cannot have a prosperous future. That's on him. I don't focus on people like that dwell. I look towards the future. Okay, it's one of those things where people choose to do what they wish, but again, protect your mentality. Don't live off social media.
Yeah. Also, there's been an update regarding Scott D'Amore. So after all this stuff going on, TNA came out and said, Anthem basically said to TNA's roster, look, we're now working things out with him. We're going to be as stubborn as the Young Bucks and Punk.
Well,
and guess what really set TNA off? Why they fired Scott D'Amore, other than trying to say it was a mutual departure.
He wanted to put more money into TNA.
Yeah, and then Scott D'Amore was like, okay, look, you don't want to invest in TNA, that's perfectly fine. So I'm prepared to give you $10 million to buy the company outright. And I'll take the debt, I'll take everything. You will not have to worry about it anymore. I'll take it. I have some bankers. We can take it. You'll get some cash, and I'll handle everything.
Sure.
You have chosen death.
And Anthem wasn't going to do that because Anthem's not one to admit their mistakes. Plus, they know at the end of the day they would still lose.
And guess what? And guess what TNA's trying to do now?
What?
One, they want to go live later this year.
Yep, I did hear about that.
And two, they're still hoping to see if they can get Alex Hammerstone.
Which I did hear about that too.
Again, be a big pickup, former MLW champion, right now free agent. He's just exploring offering opportunity, not looking for it. He's sending it. So,
which you said about Alex Hammerstone.
Yes.
Last week, a trademark was filed from AEW.
Ah, yes.
It was called Dynasty. Keep that in mind. Exactly. And it's filed underneath a show / pay-per-view. And it's projected to be around April. Think about what I just said. Dynasty, and then what we just got through talking about. Alex Hammerstone. I mean, what has AEW been doing since when Punk first came on board with these theme shows? We had the First Dance. We got Big Business. And now we think Dynasty.
To be fair, I don't think that relates to Alex Hammerstone or MJF because there's still like several more months before you can recover fully.
True. But I'm just throwing it out there just for, King's sake. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's a thought. It's a thought, but I also think about Dynasty with one Richard Holiday. And of course, that was a guy that was another learning tree of MJF. Unfortunately, was being like him, or being perfectly honest, alongside Alicia Taylor. So it's like, it's one of those things where, or two, excuse me. But damn it, not Alicia Taylor. Alicia,
it's out.
It's out. The two, phonetics, whatever. Fuck it. Anyway.
Also, Noah crashed.
Oh no!
Look,
hi, folks. Once again, it's just me and Eric while we have technical difficulties over here.
Also, welcome back, Noah.
Welcome back, Noah. Continue. Continue as you were saying.
Damn it!
First, your TV.
Chinese manufacturing 50 cents on the hour. Piss that. Cheap ass brand working down. God bless this StreamYard platform shit.
So, anyways,
continue.
So right before Noah suddenly crashed on us, I was actually going to say we need to add in a trigger warning for very sensitive topics.
Yes, and Noah, do the honors.
I didn't think there was going to be anything that's sensitive because we're over the Vince McMahon bullshit. We're trying to move forward.
It's not just Vince this time.
They finally settled a lawsuit for freaking something else. The WWE throwing money at whatever. Go figure. And we're just looking at
that's a different subject.
We're
Two
just looking
things
at
came out.
So, what?
Two things came out.
What?
One, Renee Dupree and Ryback have come out and said something about Cena.
Okay.
Alex Riley.
Yeah, what Eric is alluding to is that they took him on a tour bus or whatever, and they tried to drug him.
What?
Now, I don't trust Ryback considering how he likes to mock the dead of Vince McMahon's mother, because somehow the sins of the son fall on the sins of the mother somehow, even though I don't even think Vince even gives a care. And two, appropriate red warning. And two, if anything is true about the Cena stuff, we're done. We're done with this. Vince is done. WWE is done. They wasted 10 years on a guy who did some horrible things, and now they can't talk about him.
Cena did come out and say, and I did see the report on Fightful that said he would never lose loyalty over a guy that he loves. I mean, he loves the guy. He said it himself.
He more or less sided with Vince despite the awful things. And even Don Marie came out and said there's fire there with that smoke with Brock Lesnar.
And of course, we know that Brock Lesnar is off of WWE 2K24, and he is more likely to be altered in Showcase of the 40 Years of WrestleMania mode, but his parts are still there as it was too late to remove him from the game.
Indeed. And also, and this is another thing. Earl Hebner came out and said, "Oh, what Vince was doing? Oh, there's been BS like that since the 80s, since I was there."
Ooh,
and he said, so Earl Hebner is saying this. So he said there was BS going on like that since 1989 when I was first there. So probably longer. He's been doing it before Earl Hebner arrived. But here was my response. I was like, and then Earl Hebner more or less said, I'm not going to say what it is because that would just give away, because I have a book coming out that's going to expose everything. So buy my book for $20. Oh,
boy.
Yeah. And considering Earl Hebner's history with WWE, especially bootlegging sales, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some dark stuff he has in his memory.
Are you kidding me? That man was a long time referee for the WWE, like you said, since '89, and heck, I was even there watching as a 3-4-year-old kid watching the Montreal Screwjob. So I mean, of course.
I mean, this company's been literally riddled with controversy its entire history, if we're being perfectly honest here. But
and there's one more big thing.
Go for it.
And I know you're saying only individual thoughts based on internet exposure. Well, there was a certain internet exposure that can't be denied.
And that will be
Paul Heyman mocking the life out of a U.S. Air Force guy that set himself on fire.
Yeah, that was wrong timing from Paul to even do that.
What?
Okay, so a few days ago, a U.S. Air Force guy set himself on fire for what's going on in Palestine and Israel, the war and whatnot. I'm not going to give my thoughts on that because then we'd be going into a much deeper topic.
That is not what AEW is all about.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say everyone's suffering there. Horrible. So he set himself on fire in protest of what's going on there. And then someone on Twitter said that Paul Heyman and WWE are trending over the guy that set himself on fire. And Paul Heyman, and I hardly doubt he didn't know, he knew, talked about, we, the Bloodline, me, The Rock, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns, and I set ratings on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he was in character or he knew. I don't
even
know.
if he was okay, here's the thing: when people say, "Oh, he was just in character," I could probably believe that if this was the freaking 90s when Paul Heyman ran ECW. That's the only way. If he he can't do that. He can't. And considering his real life beliefs, I'm pretty sure that doesn't help matters with the current stuff. But here's the other thing: no one has talked about.
Go for it.
Sami Zayn clearly has his stance, and it's the opposite of Heyman's.
That's right.
Well, considering Sami Zayn's heritage, I mean, I can.
And you've seen he's acknowledged what's going on in Israel and Palestine on TV with the Judgment Day promo, where he talks about power and saying he's resistance and all that. And WWE deleted that tweet and that video because they know what he was talking about, and they were like, just shut up.
Yeah, he went a little bit off script there.
Sometimes you need to stand for what you believe in.
Yeah, but now that Paul Heyman just came out, that tweet's still up, so he's not taking it back. I had hoped after 16 hours he would have deleted it, but he didn't.
Well, some people stand by their own opinions, even if they are foolish.
Now my worry is what's going to happen the next time Paul Heyman's on Raw and Sammy's in the same room with him.
Oh, bro. Oh, God.
I guess Triple H will have to make a judgment call.
Okay, who do you think they're going to side with? The guy who's only hot every few times because they keep screwing him over, or the guy who literally gave them their billion-dollar franchise megastar?
At the end of the day, WWE is a publicly traded business. But Ariel, the whoever the UFC guy, he's also no nonsense. So I mean, again,
Ariel. Ariel Emanuel. Yes, right.
And speaking of Ariel, here's the thing. We also got what's going to probably happen in WWE. Now we can move on with the trigger warnings and whatnot. But now we got a massive potential politicking civil war going on in WWE with the Anoa'i family, The Rock, trying to take Triple H's spot away. Remember that?
That's right. Because basically The Rock has his own creative team if there was to be a plan B involved.
Well, I mean, again, Triple H once said there's always a plan B, but how far that plan B goes, I think it comes down to what exactly happens at WrestleMania.
Well, this was reported about what was originally planned for Royal Rumble.
Oh, I figured that had to change because Roman's match was a friggin' sleeper.
Literally.
Cool down.
Here's the thing. Cody was set to win the Rumble, but Cody was never aware that there was going to be a change in the plan. And Triple H flat out told him, you're going to win the Rumble, you're going to fight Roman. And he knew the whole time, allegedly, that Rock was going to take his spot. And when they had, and before Punk got hurt, this was their plan. Not the whole Cody Rhodes just relinquishing the spot to The Rock. No. That's just stupid. No, they were going to have him build up this match for weeks. Then the Bloodline attacks, injures him, and then The Rock takes his place because that's something that should happen.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to write off Roman, I suppose that's one way.
No, write off Cody.
Oh, right. Because we want this to go all the way out to WrestleMania 41. People will actually linger on and invest in a pursuit that goes another year longer, with The Rock and Roman being the unstoppable duo before The Rock pretty much eliminates Roman.
This was the idea. Before Punk had gotten hurt, the plan was to have Cody build his feud with Roman Reigns up, and then Roman Reigns and the Bloodline would injure Cody, and The Rock would take Cody's place to fight Roman. That was apparently the original plan until CM Punk got hurt. So, and this was my way of saying, oh, yep, I knew it. They're blaming Punk. I knew they were going to do this. They're blaming Punk for this.
But again, WWE, they have to have a scapegoat to cover their asses. That's just the way the business works for them. It's being
and I would like to mention Punk and now Punk's horribly timed. This is the best locker room in the world. And I was like, oh, you poor man.
Look, sometimes delusion gets the better of even the wisest men you think you know in the industry. At the end of the day, you also got to cover your own ass. You know, it is what it is. But WWE is going to be WWE. That's why I always look at WWE different versus everything else, because at the end of the day, professional wrestling is not the same as sports entertainment. And I don't care what anyone tells me. There's a reason why WWE is not AEW. Thank Christ. There's a reason why AEW is not TNA. TNA is not Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is not NXT.
Well, I have to tell you what's certainly going on. New Japan Pro Wrestling going through that schism with Stardom.
Oh,
yeah, let's go ahead and briefly talk a few results though about New Japan.
By the way, I called it. Hiroshi Tanahashi agrees with me. New Japan Pro Wrestling needs to make new stars.
Oh, yes, think. Let's go ahead and run
so.
Let's go ahead and run down what happened during the New to Beginning a little bit, shall we? As we saw, and you finally watched it. Holy fucking hell. Again, after Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. in freaking Osaka, we go to Sapporo, the end of the tour. And Zack Sabre Jr. is wrestling Yuji Nagata. Fun match. Calling it now. Zack Sabre Jr. needs to win New Japan Cup and win the title. We saw the fallout of LIJ versus just 5 guys, not the restaurant, but the group. Uyemura is now bald. Damn. And Donkey won with not the Donkey. No, he didn't, Gino. Donkey won against Hiromu Takahashi. He took 5 years, biggest win of that young man's career. Taiji and Single, maybe done for now, but both are in the New Japan Cup. But hopefully both men are going on to bigger things. I think Taiji, though, that hometown magic works so much for him. I think bigger things will wait for the Holy Emperor. Bushi beat Taka. Damn it! And Sonata lost to Tetsuya Naito, and Okada's officially done. And the most important thing that happened in Sapporo, Nic Nemeth beat David Finlay and is the
thank the Lord Jesus
global heavyweight champion. And what a mission statement! Talking about putting it all out there. If he didn't win that, he was going to retire. He's willing to do this until he dies to forge legacy with this title. Defend it anytime, anywhere, against anyone. Once defended against Hiroshi Tanahashi, and that match has been made official now for Sakura Genesis against Tanahashi. Speaking of Tanahashi, lost NWA World Heavyweight title in 8 minutes to the original Matt Riddle in emphatic fashion.
Which I'm gonna take a pause on that because he was on the Ariel Helwani MMA Hour show, and he himself admitted the fact that he used cocaine while still employed by the WWE.
Okay, so now we know what their drug policy is. Good to know. And everyone
there's something I should tell you.
What?
WWE reportedly kind of ended the policy, more or less. Remember when Matt Riddle went into rehab?
Yes.
And that was his 3rd time. Naturally, that means 3 strikes you're out.
Yes.
Well, WWE had this new mentality. Okay, we're not going to let anyone go, even if they break the 3-strike rule, because they could go to AEW, and we can't have that. Damn the consequences.
Oh, right, because if WWE loses something, it's bad publicity, right? Because they can't create new stars. But, again, what do I know? Publicly traded business, right?
Yeah, but yeah, and then Hiroshi Tanahashi got injured.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Oh, again, the toll of the industry. To anybody that's out there injured, please get well soon and take care of yourselves. And also shout out to Mina Shirakawa and Myra Tani representing Stardom, defending the IWGP Women's Championship. Mayo successfully against Mina in the cerulean blue. Hopefully that means that the IWGP Women's Championship will be more presented in New Japan Pro Wrestling versus just Stardom.
As in Starlight Kid, AZM, and Mina has been, and Stephanie Valkyrie have been announced for Windy City Riot April 12th.
Yes, they have, and I'm going to guess it's going to be their fatal 4-way number contenders or maybe a tag team match of sorts. I love seeing that.
And then
build up.
A certain boss, a certain CEO commented underneath that and was like, this emoji. And then AZM said, oh, so you do remember my name.
Uh-oh. I'm just saying, if we get the daughter of High Speed versus the CEO, take my freaking money. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the New Japan Cup was announced.
Yes, and we have our bracket.
I actually have a take on that.
Yeah, go for it, because I'll put the bracket up while you all give your simple takes real quick.
We all know there's a bunch of big talents on there, but Hiroshi Tanahashi agrees. New Japan needs new stars, and they need them now, especially with 90% of their main event scene being decimated.
And before you continue, we gotta talk about this because this was also an emotional time. Again, New Japan, the guy first ninja, they lost Okada, and we also saw the last match of Tama Tonga. What a match with DOD throwback versus DOD modern. With
he's now expected to go to WWE.
Guerrilla Tactics.
Guerrilla Tactics, man, that hits me hard. I love that theme. And I'm going to say this once. I'm going to say it once, and you all better listen out there. Seeing is believing. Everything else is just fucking reading. But go ahead, Eric, and talk about Tama Tonga going to WWE.
I thought you were indirectly going to reference the fact that people now want Tama Tonga in the bloodline.
Yeah, why am I not surprised by that? King Haku, another bitch for Roman. Anyway, sorry, did I say that out loud? But yeah, here's your New Japan Cup, by the way, folks.
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
Hiroshi Tanahashi agrees. He agrees. We need to make new stars, especially after this. After this massive disaster we're having.
Well, last year they made a star out of Sonata, and Sonata's still on record the longest IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. And
but who really cares about the butterfly belt at this point still?
Well, they have to make it matter. And I think you make it matter by one of two ways. You really push Naito to try and bring this company with some life. And Okada says he thinks he could be that wrestler. He hopes he becomes that. And we all saw that subtle entrance.
Yeah, and King crashed.
But
no, I was also going to say, hey, King.
But finally got you.
So, anyways, as I was saying, I had this pitch for New Japan Cup. Okay, we got to make Jeff Cobb the winner. We got to give it a big name to put on the screen. I know we all love Zack Sabre Jr., but he already had his moment as this New Japan Cup winner.
He's also had multiple times to try and win after the New Japan Cup, to win the freaking cup and lost, to your point.
But I believe we need a good, solid dark horse undercard man, and I believe we need to put Shota Umino in there.
I mean, literally
do high quality matches, win the matches, and then make it probably semifinals. But because Noah, I'm just gonna let you know this. Take a look at that bracket. If Shota Umino loses and Yujiro Takahashi loses, 3-11. Look at who it could be.
Oh God, fucking help me.
Jungle Boy and Yano.
Freaking Yano. My anxiety! That fucking no good breaker of wrestling worse than R-Truth in my mentality.
You see what you've done?
Well, it's either that or Shota Umino beats him.
I mean, Shota Umino should be the guy. I mean, Will Ospreay put him over as the guy that could literally lead New Japan Pro Wrestling and possibly first win a championship. I mean, hell, look at the opening match on the other side of the bracket. Yota Tsuji, Jeff Cobb. Yota Tsuji came in and challenged for the title out of the get-go and lost. And why he beat Uya Yamera, you do wonder if Uya might go on a strong rising. Imagine if Uya beats Shingo. You talk about putting new stars, creating new stars, the new generation leading. People like Uya, people like Yoda, people like Shoto, they need to get at least to the semifinals and not the finals. You need to build up these men. And I hate to say it, King, but even Bullet Club War Dogs has some merit to them. Gabe Kidd, for example, has the most merit.
He really does, because Gabe Kidd has
Finley in the tournament.
What?
David Finley. He's fighting TJP.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, that Jay White knockoff. Anyways, Gabe Kidd has. I'm just saying. But Gabe Kidd has shown at least that aggressiveness and that potential to at least go further in this New Japan Cup. Because after what I saw with that dog pound cage match with Gabe Kidd, it seems like more of Gabe Kidd being the leader of Bullet Club War Dogs than David Finley. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just saying.
Again, Chris Charlton said Gabe Kidd's worst enemy is Gabe Kidd. He might be right, but if he could figure out that enemy, I think Gabe Kidd could be a sleeper pick to win this. So looking at this cup, I got to go with either Gabe Kidd, Jeff Cobb, and after what you said, Eric, I think I might change out Zack Sabre Jr. for Shota Umino. But I will say this about Zack Sabre Jr., he's a person dedicated to actually doing stuff in New Japan Pro Wrestling, unlike some people. So maybe this should be finally his time. Just saying. And also, think about this. If Naito not only survives to win a New Japan Cup, he has to go through Jon Moxley. If you want to establish New Japan Pro Wrestling on a new forefront, Jon Moxley as IWGP Heavyweight Champion, that's a hell of a way to get attention. Yeah. And a test to beat. Just saying.
Also, people have been bringing up Zack Sabre Jr. again on the timeline.
About what?
Mostly his real life name. Yeah. When I heard it, I was like, Oh yeah, this is gonna turn into a joke. Let me just send this in the chat area. This is his real government name.
Government name. Luke James Uggles Eat Well.
What?
Yeah, that's his real name.
Well, interesting choice, but again, I don't understand name conventions. But going from New Japan Pro Wrestling to Stardom, of course, the Stardom Championships right now, they really haven't changed hands. The high speed, the tag, the world.
Oh, we also forgot one more thing.
Go for it.
Not only has New Japan lost Okada, could be losing Tama Tonga, they're losing Minoru Suzuki.
Oh, that's right. He's going on a World Bender tour. He might be done with New Japan Pro Wrestling indefinitely. And
if we recall correctly, Okada says, "I shall never return here."
Eric,
but that was more of a
I know. I just wanted to be dramatic.
Clean break.
Yeah,
He wants a clean break. I mean, he's accomplished everything. He's accomplished everything there in New Japan.
Literally, again, we saw this man grow over the last freaking decade plus in our fandom, and he literally grew out New Japan Pro Wrestling now the last 18 years. So
yeah, a clean break for him. I mean, heck, he wants to test himself here in the States.
Yeah, but what's Stardom going to do as far as their maybe clean reset? I mean,
as that's going on, the schism has slowly but surely begun, especially with the former leader of Stardom going in and was like, "Fine, you want to fire me because I've been poaching talent to go to WWE? I'll form my own promotion with blackjacks." And, you know what? Forget the.
About to say he don't have that. But bottom line, he needs to have the support and the funding. And why he might have
guess who he already. Guess who he apparently is going to do?
What?
I know one person who's going to go to his new promotion.
Giulia?
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah, reportedly she is set to be there to get the promotion off the ground, and then she'll go into WWE. So probably a year or two.
So the women you mentioned for Wednesday Night Raw should be one hell of a show, by the way. I can see that being for a vacated NW Strong Women's Championship. As we know, Giulia right now is on V9, going into V10 against your guess is as good as mine. But she has truly shown how strong she is. So I'm curious how to get the belt off her. And of course,
probably
Micah,
just have her relinquish it.
And of course, Micah and Mina, they formed a whole new group called N Nexus V, I believe it's called, where basically they would define the future and the strongest in Stardom. Very curious to see what they can do. Nice to see Tam Nakano back as well. We, of course, still have the Queen of Roses, Utami Hayashita, the Golden Phoenix, Saya Kamatani, Aphrodite still our tag champions. And I believe the Cinderella tournament's coming up as well. And we all saw how that led to Mariah claiming the white belt, which I believe she no longer has. I believe it's Ami Sarai that has it. I don't think Starlight Kid won it yet. Speaking of belts that are ruined for life, don't get me started on House of Torture and the fact they have 2 championships now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, hot garbage.
Yeah, we're getting Shota Umino versus Tetsuya Naito at the anniversary show. Yeah, House of Torture, just saying. Burn in oblivion! Anyway, sorry. A little bit hot under the collar there. All right. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, again, the results of TNA, because as we know, we just got through this past weekend. They presented No Surrender. Killer Kelly and Macho Slam vs. MK Ultra once again retained the titles. Yes! I'm glad I was right on that one. The grizzled young veterans challenged the ABC. Damn it. And the ABC were able to find a way, King, to hold on to the
sweet.
Your true Bullet Club. They got it done where it mattered the most. This was a very game tag title match, and I give all the respect to the ABC getting it done. Michelle Shaw, a hell of a bounty, but the spotlight still belongs to the Juggernaut Jordan Grace, our Knockouts World Champion. Moose somehow did not surrender, while Kushida did for the sake of Alex Shelley's ribs after spearing him with chain assist into oblivion. This was downright barbaric at times. And for the first time in 20 years in his illustrious career in Ali, we trust indeed as Sabin has fallen. Chris Sabin failed to defend the Edmonton Championship successfully against Mustafa Ali. But overall, I think TNA No Surrender was a great success. No injuries, incredible action across the board, and what a moment for Mustafa Ali. Who knows what this means now for the X Division going forward. So before we move on, King or Eric, do you have anything to say regarding that show or TNA's future as far as going to the Sacrifice? Oh, right. Wow, I'm stupid. We even got a Sacrifice match. Eric Young beat Kazarian after Kazarian threw a fit and destroyed a referee. Jeez. And will now challenge Moose for the TNA World Championship. I sense Kazarian's going to screw him, but that's just some fun, just for me. What were your guys' thoughts on those surround? Did you check it out?
I haven't been watching anything, especially like I said.
I know you haven't. I give you the pass, but of course, take your mentality, take it easy. What about you, King?
The only takeaway I have from this, why is AJ Francis still there? I thought he would have left after I thought he would have left after their little, with Joe Hendry. But apparently he's still there, and I'm just like, why is he still here? Why?
Name, man.
Oh my!
You said his name. But I guess
isn't ABC specifically Chris Bay still part of Bullet Club or no?
That is correct. I don't.
Aren't you Bullet Club for life? I thought they're both Bullet Club.
They're both Bullet Club, but that's the thing with the whole Bullet Club stating that it's in right now. Bullet Club War Dogs, and you have Bullet Club Gold, and then you have
Bullet Club USA.
Right, and it's just been Kenta, Chase, and Chris Bay and Ace Austin.
Yeah.
And then you got Bad Luck Fale starting his own Bullet Club all of a sudden. And it's like
the General Jewel.
Yep.
Oh, geez,
so this whole Bullet Club state right now is in a mess.
And then there's the Bullet Club quadruple group.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric. Say it.
Damn.
Bang Bang Gang.
Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
I cannot believe how this is working for as long as it has.
And Jay White has officially caved in, as we saw with tonight's Dynamite. He officially caved in.
I think Jay White's slowly losing his mind, considering he showed up last year in AEW, and now he is part of a gang about scissoring.
Also, people were making fun of Matt Caster for what happened on Collision.
And even Max Caster brought it up, and he was like, "Did anybody notice?" Yes, Max. Everyone knows.
Here's the thing I found out. Apparently, his dad died that night.
Oh yeah, Rich Caster, former New York Jets offensive lineman.
Yeah, and I was like, "Well, I bet everyone else is probably not feeling anything."
And then for a way for him to bounce back, he did post on his Twitter. I believe yesterday. Referencing that botched, rap freestyle, whatever, or what happened on Collision. So he bounced back from it.
I mean, you got to keep moving forward. I'm sure his father would want that too. So hopefully,
So I was looking up on Bullet Club's current status. Okay, so you have ABC 1, 2, 3, essentially.
Yes.
You got Bullet Club Gold, Bullet Club War Dogs, the House of Torture.
Oh crap! That's right.
Now, continue.
Also, now you have something called the Far East Connection.
Far East Connection. Do you know the members of that Bullet
Gato
Club?
And Togo.
Just Gato. I thought Gato was. Wait a minute.
Yeah, he's still a tag team with Richard Togo as of 2020.
Oh, Dick Togo.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Okay,
yeah, that makes sense.
So there's that. There's the General's Jewel, Bad Luck Fale, and Chase Owens.
But didn't Chase Owens and Kenta win the IWGP Tag Team Championships from Tasmo and Nicolao?
DLD, yeah, they beat.
But that's not all. There's still like two more. There's two more. There's the Rogue Army by Bad Luck Fale.
So Bad Luck got two of them?
Yeah, and also they have a tag team called the Natural Classics that started in 2023.
Yeah, I remember that.
And here's the weird thing. The Rogue Army doesn't even have a foothold in New Japan. They have a foothold in MCW, PWA Black Label, and Tamashi.
So it's kind of like Bullet Club Latino America from back in the day.
A little bit. Yeah. But again, Bullet Club's global, and I'm just going to say this right now, so segue. Good Brothers technically are Bullet Club for life, and right now they're down in NXT trying to define a tag team division down there. Speaking of which, NXT right now, you have Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin as the tag champs. Didn't see that coming. And Braun Breaker is signed to SmackDown. Yeah, say that for what you will. I don't understand. Brand split LOL. Carmelo Hayes, the only person that probably matters in NXT, next to Trick Williams, the Dragon of Lara Valkyria. Carmelo Hayes has a chance to become the one contender to challenge for the NXT Championship, taking on Tony D'Angelo at Roadblock, which I will be covering. And the winner faces the Dragon up and stands winner for the NXT Championship.
We got Sean Spears.
Yeah,
Sean Spears is back.
That was interesting. The chairman, though, not the perfect 10. The chairman in NXT.
Here's the thing. They're letting you keep his AEW giving, and I was like, I see. So you acknowledge AEW has good things. No,
exactly.
Acknowledge that.
They're never going to admit that because Cody kept his American Nightmare gimmick. Jay kept her gimmick.
He fought for that, by the way. He fought
what she did, and Jay kept her gimmick AEW presentation, and now Sean Spears is keeping his AEW presentation. It makes you wonder. There's sort of a trend a little bit.
A little bit, but again, to blur the lines.
But except for Maddie Rankowski, though, she got name changed. But
she's on the WWE.
But that does keep me wondering what would happen in the event if MJF went to WWE. How would they?
I have no damn idea.
I don't even want to discuss that.
Yeah, about to say, let's just ask that. Let's just wish MJF the best on his road to recovery because he's going to be gone for a long damn time. That boy was
torn labrum and what else injury he got going on.
I mean, what else did we actually not know? Because again, FERPA, what people don't disclose. By the way, Julia Hart still out injured, but nice to see her still having an on-screen presence.
Keith Lee injured.
Yeah, Keith Lee.
Double shoulder surgery.
Yeah, about to say double shoulder surgery. He ain't going to be showing anything limitless for a while, including himself. So again,
and then even the meat madness, the creme de la creme for Big.
Well, the meat turned into an all-star scramble, which we learned with 2 people missing, though.
Yeah, and so much more. But before we get into our main event, again,
we also have one more thing. There's also 2 more things. One, CMLL is on fire.
Yeah, Visa.
The Visa.
Yeah, curse the government of America. Yep. Yeah, and it will be so they're gonna have to either try to pay off the government, which is a dumb idea altogether,
that ain't gonna work.
2, just go have a Forbidden Door venue in Mexico.
That's what I just told Noah when I was watching along. Yep, gotta do it.
I'm just waiting for the next big announcement. It's like it's gonna do it there. Just waiting. So we'll have to see what happens.
But I have heard that Arthur Ashe Stadium will be hosting a Forbidden Door too, as well.
For now, with these visas going on, it might get changed.
Yeah, about to say, cards are yet to change. Again, until I see official graphic with the AEW press release, because he always does press release too, ain't believing a thing. And Lyra Valkyria, good luck alongside Tan Patrick, challenging the Kabuki Warriors and making women's tag team wrestling matter in WWE. Why women's wrestling matters far more, Ring of Honor, and they are doing their tournament for the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship. What a fucking show last week, by the way, too. And, of course, we have our remaining 8. And it will be Diamante versus Billy Stocks. It will be Abaddon versus Mercedes Martinez. Legit Layla Hirsch. It was Cinematrix relevant. Taking on Red Velvet. And Queen Aminata, who officially recently became All Elite. Congratulations to her. Taking on Valera Loca. Taya Valkyrie. And on Castle, you have a choice if you want to smash Johnny TV's face. They want the boys. Will he give up the boys? Only time will tell. Kyle Fletcher's still dealing with visa issues, so we'll see what he and Ethan Page will finally come ahead. And Athena has overcome her greatest test to date in planning Nyla Rose, not through 1, but 2 damn tables, and retaining her Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Amazing.
In which that tournament has produced some bangers. It made me go out and explore my way to watch J-Rod and what was the other one? What's her name? Sandra Moon.
Yeah.
And Sussy Love. And I went out of my way and watched a couple of their highlights. This women's tournament, I am expecting more big things.
Well, again, we talk about the depth of the Ring of Honor Women's Division versus the AEW Women's Division, but at least now since Steve's return, we are seeing more of a focus lately with the Women's Division and building more stories and at least giving us more than one match. Now, maybe you don't get necessarily the time you expect, but you got to look at progress wherever you can get. And as long as I'm seeing more representation inside that ring and recognition, that's what matters. That's the Serena D's mission statement. At the Serena D's mission statement, I think there's definitely a lot more in store for the AEW Women's Division with the Professor as your leader. What's up, Eric?
Yeah, also, I had an update I heard. So CMLL announced that they're going to have their first ever all-women's event.
Oh, nice.
March 8th.
Of course, Stephanie Valkyria, no doubt. I mean, she was the first one I recognized from CMLL.
Well, the main event match has already been announced.
What is
and
it?
That main event match is?
Tag title bout.
Uh-oh. That's Stephanie Valkyria, I believe, still the champion. That, of course,
I don't know a lot of these people's names, but I do know several. I think so. The AEW women are going to be there, but I could be wrong.
Willow's going to. Willow's going to be there, and
and
her tag partner is Tessa Blanchard.
Oh yeah.
Again with La Rosa de Negra, am I correct? Yeah.
La Rosa de Negra, that's correct. Very good.
Yep. Part of that trio's title, but yeah, Willow teaming up with Tessa. Yeah.
Look, again, I'm all about giving people a second chance of moving up from the past, but Tessa is a bomb waiting to explode sometimes, I think.
Oh, it could be worse. It could be what happened at Dynasty, a wrestling event.
Man.
Huh?
Did you hear who came back at a wrestling event called Dynasty?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. I'm not
going to say his name or anything, but I'm just going to just bring this part up. Rita was there.
All right. We're going to leave it late. That's all I got to say.
Rita was there as her guest timekeeper, and I was like, you sick.
And moving on from there, as we look towards the future, as you alluded to, before we talk about Revolution again, big business is going to pick up, and certainly someone's going to go down in Boston and so much more. Looking very forward to that. Love the neon, by the way. I'm very curious to see what that will look like. And also, after Revolution, we will have a new logo and a new set for AEW Dynamite as we know it, which I'm very curious to see what that's going to be. Again, why fix something that's not broke? I mean, again, we kind of were like, we missed the rainbow explosion, and we've gotten used to the red and blue with the neon effect and the other set too. So I'm like, and there's only
people are still complaining about the fact that why do they have to go LED screens? Why do we have to get digital high production?
Because it's cheaper. Because all I gotta do is reprogram it versus just getting a new tarp. That's literally what it comes down to. Let's be honest.
But we want down and dirty.
No, we want tradition. And as tradition, that's what TNA is all about, which is what I love.
Isn't down and dirty kind of wrestling kind of a form of tradition from old days? Where everything was practical and less digital effects?
I suppose that's true. You know, you go the smoke and mirrors, paints, and freaking all the nonsense, including pipe noise, like one company. What? Anyway.
By the way, Seth Rollins getting hurt. When I heard that, guess what came out? Guess what was originally supposed to happen for Seth Rollins at Elimination Chamber?
What?
He was supposed to defend the title against Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And my two reactions were this: one, I don't care about Bronson Reed right now. Two, mostly because I felt like they waited too long on him.
That's
true. Fair.
And the second part is, imagine if they had brought Bronson Reed after he beat Okada and he challenged the world champ.
Oh yeah, I think people forgot about that because WWE is not one to reflect on stuff like that.
Yeah, but at least that would have been like a momentum for other promotion fans to be like, Bronson Reed's challenging Seth Rollins, or
bring more of an audience. But again, Bronson Reed, congratulations on being Big Papa. Congratulations to you. Wish nothing but the best to you and your family in that endeavor. All right, guys, we've had a lot of fun. I've had some fun talk. Let's go ahead and get right down to the nitty gritty. It's the show that brought this platform together in the first place, and we're back now for the fifth time. Let's go right into AEW Revolution, the pay-per-view that sets up the course to try and restore the feeling and set the roadmap for All Elite Wrestling's 2024. And this Revolution is especially special because it is showtime for the last time. Let's get right fucking into it. As we know right now, it is 9 matches, just like World's End. When it's a private, there are 2 matches, though, for the 0-hour buy-in, whatever the hell you want to call that, will be 90 minutes. And of course, it's still on Bleacher. Get on fucking Max, just like you got your friggin' pay-per-views from Ring of Honor on Honor Club, which is so much better.
Oh, speaking of that, I heard some whispers going on regarding Max.
What?
The whisper is that Monet is like, I am now all elite. As such, my first decree. Can we get a women's show on Max?
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Just saying. I still think Rampage should lead a women's showcase. Nice match last week with Ryman and Anna Jay. And again,
who's gonna watch it? Who's gonna watch it more? The All Elite Women's Show on the streaming platform that can be accessed at any time, or stay up at 10 in the night?
Yeah, I rest my case, Your Honor. There you go. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get right into the show. We got 9 matches here, and Dynamite, of course, definitely drove a lot of them home. And, of course, we still have some angles left to close out with recorded Collision. And, again, I'm hashtag spoiler free because I'm a madman. We got the countdown on Friday after Rampage, but let's go ahead and talk about this card as it is, and we'll go from there. Let's go ahead and start with this, where at the end of the day, there's one thing that matters here. Re-fucking-spect. And then Kingston, as far as Bryan Danielson goes, Bryan, for him, has none of it. Bryan Danielson challenges Eddie Kingston for the Continental Crown Championship once again after losing to this man ahead of the finals at AEW World's End, where Eddie Kingston not only beat Bryan Danielson, he beat Jon Moxley, the guy that got him in the business in the first place, being perfectly honest. But as of lately, we've seen Eddie Kingston follow his hero Kawada while presenting this modern-day Triple Crown in North America, defending all 3 titles at once and simultaneously at times. But on Dynamite, Bryan Danielson incapacitated the man and now says why he has squandered his potential his entire life except this past year. I'm now going to once again show why I don't give a damn about Eddie Kingston. Eric crashed. Because, unless he fell asleep, because at the end of the day, he does not deserve it. And I'm going to choke him out. Eddie Kingston, though, put in a caveat. If he wins here, Bryan Danielson has to shake his hand. So, again, a lot of them are considering this is Bryan Danielson's last run fully. And I don't know if Eric crashed or not or went to sleep. If he did, Eric, good night, brother. God bless you. And always thank you to the Inquirer, the Bear of All Things News. Please follow him at Neo Reality Entertainment. Link will be, of course, in the description down below for We Are ATW. Again, shout out to the AEW crew. Of course, including not limited to Casey Man, Casey, Preacher Man, of course, Casey Flynn. We got, of course, our wrestler across the pond, our fighter, our queen, Mega Chiba. Happy birthday to you, by the way. Our enforcer, let's continue to do great things. Newest members of the family, including Jose. We got Sinead Chanel. There he is. Eric did crash. Botch!
No, the power went out.
Oh.
Damn, how'd that happen?
Storm?
Yeah, I forgot to mention it's downpouring here and the wind's picking up.
That was to say storm.
Yeah, well, be safe. I know what that is like on my friends out in California, and of course, we are no different here. But Eddie Kingston, the story of a man whose own potential he has risen above in, I think, many fans' opinions, but still
Eddie
has
Kingston's
many.
gonna win, I call it.
Wow, I'm not going to say anything.
Dang.
Else. Right. He's just going straight for it. So you think Eddie Kingston's going to win against Bryan Danielson? Bryan's going to shake his hand.
He has no choice. As much as I would want Bryan to win, let's be real, Bryan is way too humble in real life.
Yeah, I know this character, this facade. I mean, I'm just saying. And again, he said it's going to be a friggin' odyssey, his last full year of wrestling, which of course literally is this year. He's on borrowed time. Again, Kazuchika Okada, Yuji Nagata, Jun Akiyama, and now Hechicero, and now Eddie Kingston. Oh, and Zachary Jr. How could I forget?
Look, before okay, so I'm gonna go because my network, while it's recovering, I have not watched AEW, so I don't know all the details.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil you.
Yeah, but no, I say I don't know all the details of the shows heading into it. I know the matches and whatnot, but I just have not been watching wrestling as much. I do plan to watch Revolution. I do want to say this, Tony. I hope you're listening to this because you borrowed my stuff in the past.
Here we go.
You have to eventually do Ospreay versus Bryan.
That I agree with. I do agree with that. He is 110% correct. That needs to happen. He's not wrong. You know what? I give you that. I absolutely give you that.
But no. I'm going to give you a challenge though.
Oh Lord.
You have to pick. Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson at All In 2 or 2 out of 3 falls Zack Sabre Jr. with Bryan Danielson at All In 2.
Ooh.
You can't have both.
I think with the fact that Bryan said backstage that Zack Sabre Jr. is officially the best physical wrestler on the planet, and you don't know when you might get Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay, you got to do Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson. I got to pick that one just because I just don't know if you're going to get it at this point if you don't do it this year.
Well, Bryan did challenge Zack Sabre Jr. to a 2 out of 3 falls match after New Japan.
Wrestle Dream. Do it at Wrestle Dream then, where it all started. Culminate there.
But here's my other thing. In a perfect world, we would be getting Punk and Bryan versus Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. Imagine that match.
Take my money, 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 take my money. That's all I got to say. And I don't.
All right. I'll be seeing you guys. It was nice chatting with you all again.
Eric's
always brother.
Appreciate you. God bless you and your family. I'll see you around in the chat.
See ya.
All right. And here we are once again, the dynamic duo. And again, stay safe, my fans and friends. And again, Shiana, Chanel, the entire family. Again, nothing but love to all of you. Again, we are ATW. Well, King, here we are once again, the All Elite Duo since day 0, doing it up as we usually do because everyone else is protecting their mentality, taking care of themselves, and deal with other challenges too. I hold nothing against them. What started with 6, went to 5, down to 4, and as always, down to 2. Here we go, right into it because we know everything, for we are crazy and we watch all things AEW. So yeah, I mean, Eric, straight up, real talk. He said that Kingston has to win. What's your thoughts on this and the statement? Now Bryan Danielson says, I'm going to choke the man out. Again, we watched it tonight on Dynamite. He incapacitated the man the same exact way as Rampage, except this time, Kingston didn't even have the will in him left to show a defiant statement. If that happens Sunday, Bryan Danielson finishes one last huge accolade in his illustrious career. But Eddie Kingston, all his work might be for naught if he loses.
And which, let's see, when the Continental Classic first started, Eddie Kingston was down. Well, he was down in the standings. And then he rose up like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And then he completed the BCC sweep. He beat Claudio. He beat Bryan. He beat Mox at World's End.
Yep.
He completed the sweep. And now we get this revisited, but this time higher stakes here.
Definitely.
And of course, with the stipulation being about respect in this feud. And of course, Eddie said it on commentary on Saturday on Collision. My problem was never with Bryan. The problem is the respect. That word, respect. Bryan doesn't respect Kingston.
Nope.
So, and that's when Kingston brought up the stipulation saying, if I beat you at Revolution for this Continental Crown and retain the Continental Crown Championship, you have to shake my hand. And the way how we saw in trios action, which was chaotic, which was violent, which was brawlerific, but an awesome trios match it was on Dynamite with the Blackpool Combat Club and FTR and Eddie Kingston. Like you said, it ended with Eddie Kingston in a triangle passed out. And that's when Bryan said, Eddie, on Sunday, is going to get choked out. If that statement holds any truth, on Sunday, we might be looking at a possibility of Bryan Danielson becoming a Continental Crown champion. But I'm sticking with this prediction. I'm sticking to it. I'm going with Eric on this one. Eddie Kingston's going to retain, and Bryan Danielson will shake his hand by the end of the night. By the end of their match on Sunday. Eddie Kingston retains the Continental Crown Championship.
I just feel like right now with Bryan Danielson's career, it's just a nice bow on his full-time run to literally give back the respect to Eddie Kingston and literally see that Eddie Kingston has risen to that lost, forgotten, underutilized potential that they saw in this man back going all the way to Ring of Honor. Again, him, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Homicide, the people that literally, again, same locker room as Eddie Kingston, knew that he could be so much more, thought they saw greatness in him. Turned out it looked like he's just a bum. And again, he's pretty much followed that accolade, that milestone, the king of the bums. Well, I think this king has one last jewel to add to his crown, and rightfully deserving so. I figure the Kingston does deserve this, but again, only time will tell. Speaking of that trios, we talked about, of course, basically 1/3 of it. Let's go ahead and talk about the other 2/3, because if there's one thing we can say about Revolution and what you always say about AEW tag team wrestling in general, they always deliver. It was back in 2020 where we had a tag match that set the bar for tag team professional wrestling, and that was for the AEW Tag Team Championships. It was truly an elite affair. Well, this right here challenges the elite and the top to see who truly are the deserving ones to call themselves the best to beat in the AEW tag division, especially since the rankings are back. So let's go ahead and talk about this bout with a 60-minute time limit, as FTR goes once again after the Blackpool Combat Club's John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. Again, we saw these four men duke it out, fall out galore, brawling like mad in and out of the ring. And of course, we saw previously 20-minute draw with nearly an executed Shatter Machine. Were we just one Shatter Machine away from the top guys stepping out Blackpool Combat Club from their so-called unstoppable, unreachable spot? Where again, Blackpool Combat Club, be real, step up, get step out. John Moxley says keep up. I argue if FTR, have they not kept up, maybe they've even gone up and above Blackpool Combat Club at this point. As one of these teams ran their course, something's got to give here, man. Your thoughts on this?
And this all started on Collision after that tag match with Moxley and Claudio taking on CMLL Star Jr. and Espanye. And of course, after that match, that's when Moxley said that promo, who else can keep up with us in the Blackpool Combat Club? And that's when FTR stepped up to the plate and accepted that challenge. And then we had a brawl out to basically start off this feud. And of course, like you alluded to, we had that time limit draw to where we were possibly one Shatter Machine away from FTR beating Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, in which it led us to, well, this. In my opinion, this match is going to be banger because, of course, their tag team division has been slowly restoring that feeling in the tag team division. And it's like what these four men, I felt like there should have been a special match added to it, like a 2 out of 3 falls, maybe screaming dog collar match, some sort.
God.
I'm just saying, because you can't control these four men after what we saw in that trios match earlier tonight on Dynamite. You can't control these four men.
I guess that's fair, but also Blackpool Combat Club is about being disciplined in every form of art of professional wrestling. That includes traditional tag team wrestling. And you know what? TR can go up to an hour. They beat Battle Club Gold when they were the tag champs. And threw 3 falls in the classic on TV Collision.
And that's when Moxley and Claudio brought up all the tag teams, like the Midnight Express, like the Midnight Express, the Rock and.
I mean, they didn't say a lot of teams, but they
brought up the Steiner brothers. They brought up the most historic tag teams in professional wrestling, and they would do us what they want to believe about tradition. This is where prediction-wise, I am split, because it's like, does FTR need that win, but is it like with John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli climbing up in the rankings as well? Both of these men are climbing up in the rankings in the tag team division. It's like, who needs this win more to climb up even further in the tag team division? I know my prediction might change, but right now, shoot. I'm going with, I feel like FTR, especially with that Shatter Machine, almost close to a Shatter Machine we saw in Dynamite, that could have been the closing finish to the match. I'm going with FTR as of right now.
Part of me feels like you got to consider with the rankings in play, this is going to constitute one of these two teams more likely to be in the next challenges for the AEW Tag Team Championships, considering history and considering what hasn't been done yet and what could be ahead. I think that John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli might surprise us here. You saw what they did against the CMLL boys, and I can't imagine Blackpool Combat Club being skunked at AEW Revolution. I think one of these matches is going to be a win-lose type strategy for Blackpool Combat Club. And while Bryan Danielson's on the last full-time run, Jon Moxley and Kyle Castagnoli aren't letting up. Why FTR, they have done absolutely everything. And truth be told, FTR, they want to define themselves truly in tag team professional wrestling. They don't think about singles, period, point blank. While Claudio and Jon Moxley have defined themselves in singles on a number of occasions. Again, former world champions here. Claudio Castagnoli, bring our world champion. Jon Moxley, multiple-time AEW world champion. It'd be a different avenue and approach for the Blackpool Combat Club to go after the tag titles. But then again, they're just going to do whatever the fuck they want. I also just feel right now that, again, Jon Moxley, he's not taking a vacation. And Claudio Castagnoli, he's kind of the guy that you just don't expect him to eat a fall, but it feels like if someone's going to eat a fall, it's going to be either him or Dax, because in these type of really feuded efforts, Dax is the guy, and let's not forget about him with trios match against House of Black, that usually gets caught up in the end. And this all started also with Jon Moxley and Dax Harwood first ever one-on-one match that also pretty much went almost to a draw, and Jon Moxley incapacitated the man. But I am kind of torn like you, and I do think regarding, again, Blackpool Combat Club has nothing to prove. FTR, they are tag team wrestling. They're here to continue to prove that they are the greatest tag team of all time, arguably. And I think they need a win to continue that. Otherwise, they might want to take a little bit of a reprieve. So it goes down to who do you want going into April? Double or nothing. Whatever March is going to bring outside big business. Who do you want to consider at the top of the realm of tag team wrestling? I think based on what I'm looking at right now, and it might be a little bit of a change of the guard as I'm seeing people go in different directions, I think I'm going to go with Blackpool Combat Club with the upset surprising us out of nowhere, okay? We know that they will do whatever it takes to win. And I do think there is more to this feud than meets the eye. Maybe they do go double or nothing. Maybe that's when you get 2 out of 3 falls. But I think because, again, it's draw, this sets up a winner. This doesn't settle anything, I feel like. It might further instigate stuff. I think FTR gets it done first here on the pay-per-view before the 60-minute time limit. I'm actually going to go with FTR. All right. Well, as we're at the end of this saga for now, when it comes to Blackpool Combat Club and Kingston and FTR, the top guys versus the real people, let's go ahead and see if Orange Cassidy is at the end of Heartache or the end of his run as the AEW International Champion. Orange Cassidy, he won the title against Jon Moxley, and he defended against Brian Keith, and he defended against Dante Martin, and he defended against Matt Taven, and he defended against Mike Bennett, and he's been involved in Texas Deathmatch, and he was involved in the 6-way scramble of Red Pro, and he was also Wrestling Commander, and he also defended against Tomoshi. He's got a bad back, bad shoulder, bad knee, bad leg, bad arm. He barely can wrestle, and he's essentially defended the title tonight against Nick Wayne. Jesus. And, of course, now we have this match here with Roderick Strong trying to bring gold to the Undisputed Kingdom and get his first title in his AEW career. Is the Undisputed Kingdom supposed to be the kingdom to come, to rise, led by the devil himself with everything we've seen since World's End post-wise? Or is Orange Cassidy the guy that, once again, you never count out, who always finds a way to win? Especially now he's got his best friends by his side in Trent and Rocky Romero. It's one of those matches where, again, if Roderick Strong doesn't win this, Undisputed Kingdom is... If Roderick Strong wins this, then you said once again, when does Orange Cassidy come back and get the title again? This is the title that defines Orange Cassidy. He's the workhorse of AEW. He and Gunther are probably 2 of the most legitimate champions you can watch in the wrestling industry, bar none. Where do you stand with this, man?
Orange Cassidy is a walking medical skeleton at this rate, because the much workhorse he's put into this within his second reign is more than he done in his first reign, and it's like he amplified. Like, he wasn't even supposed to be in this situation because it was supposed to be Moxley, but Moxley got hurt because of Ray Phoenix, and then Ray Phoenix got hurt, so that landed to Orange Cassidy, and now here we are again with Orange Cassidy in his second reign. But like I was alluding back to just now, he's put more work into his second reign than he did in his first reign. Yep. And as much as I like Orange Cassidy being international champion in this second reign, I feel like this second reign has a little bit more, how shall I put it? a little bit more stale, a little bit in this case, because I feel like we need a new international. It's like, how should I put this? It's like Wardlow with the TNT Championship. That's what I'm kind of referring to, because it's like and I know we were not supposed to have Orange Cassidy as champion, but injuries do happen in this business. So, and of course, Orange Cassidy is a walking medical skeleton. Plus we saw with Taven and Bennett at Dynamite when he faced Nick Wayne.
Gosh.
And of course, they was going to get involved somehow. They've been getting involved with the whole Best Friends and Undisputed Kingdom feud going on. And of course, that took Chucky T out, and of course, that took Trent out. Well, and that took out Rocky Romero. And then we saw Trent and Rocky Romero get their comeuppance against Taven and Bennett, but that led to an orange punch from Orange Cassidy to retain the championship against Nick Wayne. But here came Roger Strong from the entranceway and just ambushed him, whacked him. So, and basically, and like I said in our watch along, Roderick Strong has the most easy pickings in this match on Sunday. New international champion is going to happen. Roderick Strong is going to bring more gold into the Undisputed Kingdom, because remember what Adam Cole has prophesied in this faction. They want the gold in this faction. We saw what happened with the Kingdom with Taven and Bennett. 3-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. 3-time. And so Roddy's next. New international champion on Sunday.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this title is about the same range as a former title he held, and he also worked his way to win that. And that, of course, is the NXT North American Championship and our NXT, when it was Keith Lee and Dijak. And to your point, Wardlow right now looking to pull an MJF like he did last year after that one promo, stating nothing but effing facts. He might literally, again, branch out beyond this. So it is one of those things where I kind of really do wonder at this point, how do you go about this? So, yeah, I feel like at this point, Orange Cassidy, he might have ran his course, and it might be good for him to take a break. And if the Undisputed Kingdom is going to have any more steam on All Elite Wrestling after the way they've come in, and again, Adam Cole is still injured, baby, and Wardlow's got sights on the AEW World Championship, then you need to see what Roderick Strong can do with the AEW National Championship. I think I got to go with you here. I think Strong gets it done. At the end of the day, he's going to here 100%. Orange Cassidy is not. But again, Orange Cassidy, though, he's the guy that no matter what sense of damage, he will fight till his last breath and last orange punch. If Roderick Strong can scout that, we got a new international champion. So I think we will see a changing of the guard. And while we go from something that has much less pulp, this has a lot more meat involved in it, but not necessarily about meat, as we have an all-star 8-man scramble, 2 yet to be determined, with Powerhouse Hobbs, Lance Archer, Wardlow, Chris Jericho, Hook, Brian Cage, and still to be determined thanks to AEW Rampage. But I gotta be honest here, dude. I understand what Tony Khan's trying to do. He's tired about injuries. But what injury prevented him from just doing the 3 men when the 3 men that were originally involved here are part of this 8-way dance?
And that's what boggles my mind. Like, the 3 men who were originally part of that Meat Madness 3-way are still in the match. Like, what type of injury does either 3 men have? I don't know. Like I said, he didn't go into specific detail. All he just said was injuries, and that was it.
Look, I'm just going to say this real quick because I got to be honest. This is the one match where I'm like, why am I looking at 8 people thrown in the ring worse than a WrestleMania showcase? Sad to say. Because let's be honest here. Jericho's misplaced. Lance is misplaced. Hobbs destroyed Sammy. Well, maybe Jericho's not completely misplaced because Jericho was destroyed by Hobbs, so I finally looked to get him. Hook and Brian Cage, they have their feud. I thought they were going to fight each other on the Zero, though, for FTW title, but I was wrong there. And the only one that deserves the win on this grab, no matter what you feel in those 2 spots, is Wardlow. If he's going to back up his claim towards that promo, why would you pick anyone else besides Wardlow?
Right. It's like the most predictable here for Wardlow to win, to build his case up if, Adam Cole keeps prophesizing for Wardlow to go after Well, the AEW World Championship.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Wardlow wins. It's war for all. Wardlow wins. Why did you do this, Tony Khan? I understand you didn't do the Face of the Live Revolution match. I think the triple threat probably would suffice, but I don't know. This is one of those decisions where I'm just scratching my head like, But anyway, it is what it is. Well, I won't be scratching my head, but I also won't be dancing, but I will be calling this. You might be dancing because the TNT Championship will be on the line as the father self-proposed of America. God help me. Blech. Christian Cage, parasite, defends the TNT Championship against Daniel Garcia. Take it away, dude. Your thoughts on this match?
Oh, man. All started right here on Collision when basically Adam had Adam had his little interview saying that he still wanted to go after the TNT Championship from Christian Cage.
Yeah, after doing Cope Open 5 in a row.
And then Daniel Garcia came about and said that, hey, I'm on a hot streak too. So that's when Adam was like, yeah, I respect you for that, but you did not win that trios steel cage match all by yourself. FTR boys helped you out, but they respect you. So I like that. They respect you. So I was like, let's throw out a little challenge on Dynamite. You and me for number one contendership for that TNT Championship. And of course, we saw what happened. That fatherless, self-proclaimed himself, Mr. I'm going to ruin a good match between two men who consider to be number one contendership for your title, just had to go along and just ruin everything. And then they gave Adam Copeland a concerto and then took him out of commission for the time being. And now here we are. Daniel Garcia gets that number one contendership. And basically, for the love of everything on this earth, Daniel Garcia, please take that title off of him. But in real prediction, Christian Cage is probably going to retain by shenanigans because of kill switch, like you said, with a lack of brain. And of course, his son, Nick Wayne, and of course, Mother Wayne. So Christian Cage retains by shenanigans.
Jezebel, if you will. Well, we know Matt Menard will be in Daniel Garcia's corner, but I got to consider a man of such grit. Adam Copeland's not going to be down for long. He's going to come back with a vengeance, hell bent. It's just one of those things where you look at Adam Copeland, his career, his mindset. You look at, again, what happened during that match and what Daniel Garcia also said during that promo. What is Adam going to talk about? Is Adam going to be more spiteful against just Christian Cage or also spiteful against Daniel Garcia, where honestly, if that match didn't happen, it might have just simply been Adam Copeland and Christian Cage running it back? Or do we expand this even further, go into a triple threat ladder match, maybe at Double or Nothing or Big Business? It just feels like to me the TNT Championship doesn't have an end game right now for the patriarchy. But the patriarchy needs to go down. And I think it would be an incredible moment for Daniel Garcia to win his first AEW championship on pay-per-view, just like Julia Hart did last year at Full Gear in Triple Threat action. By the way, Julia Hart's still injured. Get well soon. Still great to see her on screen, though. I'm torn, but like you said, how do you argue against the numbers game? It's hard to argue. That friggin' Jezebel. I think Christian is going to work everybody and find a way to retain against you, but I'm holding out that Daniel Garcia finds a way to beat Christian Cage and does more than just woo. So we'll see. I'm hoping for a new champion, but I'm leaning towards him retaining. All right, now let's see here. You tell me to pipe down, bruv? No one's going to pipe down during this singles expedition that seems to be about family matters, although those matters might be a little bit more blurred for one individual versus the other. Let's go ahead and talk about this sleeper match of the night. Will Ospreay, now officially full-time All Elite, bruv, takes on the Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita, who recently came off a win, of course, against Chris Jericho. Will Ospreay, who also beat Chris Jericho. Konosuke, who beat Kenny Omega. Will Ospreay, who also beat Kenny Omega. First time ever one-on-one singles affair. This is going to be fucking awesome.
And something tells me of what the way we saw with Will Ospreay's mannerisms is his body language. Will Ospreay is not going to be in the family for much longer because of the way how their firm handshakes that led into nose to nose, and Don Callis being a cheerleader there. Let's go, Ospreay. Let's go, Takeshita. Trying to split. How you going to make Alabama? How you going to make the crowd be split 50-50 when they're mostly pro Ospreay? I'm just saying. But this all started when Don Callis was like, we're going to keep it in the family because nobody else want to step up to Takeshita. And that's when Don Callis brought up Will Ospreay. And it kind of makes you wonder, how does Will Ospreay feel about this? Like, he was just basically just name dropped just to be challenged at Takeshita. And of course, what we saw, them mannerisms, them expressions told the whole story. He was giddy when he first came out. And then when Don came in, the mood changed.
Big time.
And it's like, well, it makes you wonder, does Will know what Don's going to do in the long run that we already know of? Saying, but the win here, look, I want Takesh to go on a singles run. Like, I still want him to get more wins on top of wins on top of wins. But this is Will Ospreay. This is his first match as a full-time AEW talent. You gotta give the win to Ospreay.
Yeah, there's no other way of putting it. Simply put, going to be a great, great exhibition. But if Ospreay loses here, what the fuck, bro? Enough said.
You talk about upset with FTR and John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. That is going to be an upset if Konosuke pulls it out against Will Ospreay.
Yeah, Don Callis tries to play de facto decider too with a screwdriver. All hell is going to break loose. Guarantee you that. All right. Either way, I'm looking very forward to this. Now, let's go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. There are 3 matches on this show that are extremely compelling, polarizing, and really foretelling. And we're going to start with something that truly defines what I'm about. It was back in Stardom in 2017, where the former SWA champion, Stardom World Association champion, Toni Storm, took on the virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo, coming out from New Jersey under Italian heritage. For the first time ever, these two clashed one-on-one. Toni Storm won, successfully defending her title. In the arrival of NXT UK, the virtuosa and Toni Storm once again met inside the same ring. Of course, this is also off the NXT tenure in the Mae Young Classic and the Black and Gold. They had a great one-on-one singles expedition founded on respect. Toni Storm won. It was for the NXT UK Women's Championship when Toni Storm bested Rhea Ripley at the time, was the face of the brand. On a special hidden gem at one of the downhill festivals, that Toni Storm got the better of the virtuosa once again. And now you look at the portrait of a champion with a 1950s throwback in black and white to the defined, one-of-a-kind virtuosa and her technical prowess in her execution of technical excellence. 2 worlds collide on one screen for the richest prize in the AEW women's division. The virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, undefeated in AEW, takes on not illustrious, but timeless and seemingly unstoppable, but definitely rattled Toni Storm, looking to kill her past by any means necessary. It is timeless Toni Storm versus the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo for the AEW Women's World Championship. And I guarantee you business is going to pick up based on the result of this match for the women's division. Now, King, you and I, we have our thoughts on each party respectfully. We're not going to go at each other's throats here. We're not going to go off the rails, but we are going to speak constructively because this match matters, in my opinion, for the future of this company. Your timeless champion, Toni Storm, who won the title off of Kushida last year at AEW Full Gear, has been phenomenal in presentation, but has been unhinged and unraveling with the virtuosa's presence. As we've seen as of late, she's applied her own Nicole standard of move called a break a leg, an ankle lock, and she wrenched it in fiercely on the Virtuosa. After we learned how much these two are connected by their past, sleeping on dojo floors, tagging in Stardom against the likes of the Dars of Stardom, Io Shirai, Mayu Iwatani, and of course, Kairi, taking on likes of Azuki, Asume, and others because they were freelancers. And of course, the Virtuosa, WWE dropped the ball. Toni Storm, WWE dropped the ball with a pie in the face. The Virtuosa defined TNA for 3 years in a generational rivalry with Grace that started back at Slammiversary in 2020 and brought that Knockouts division to new heights in women's professional wrestling, still the leading alternative today. And now she looks to bring that grace and repeat that history and bring that prestige to this division in live television aspect on a weekly basis. I know how much you admire timeless Toni Storm, but I do think it is time for a change because we know that title runs run their course. And I do believe if one thing's going to give at Revolution for the future, restoring that feeling and bringing change to all elite wrestling with everybody coming back and bringing a brighter focus and presence, then the Virtuosa needs to break an arm, break a leg, break what she has to do. But the Virtuosa, for me, needs to win the AEW Women's World Championship. I think Diana gets it done. And why Toni Storm looks to kill the past, both move on from it. But Diana surpasses it. Where do you stand, brother?
Oh, man. Oof. When Tony kind of teased a little bit at the World's End Media Scrum, when Tony was sitting right there next to her, talk about big money free agents, the women's division, with the little bucket hat he was wearing from Tony.
Oh, good Lord Almighty, that was ridiculous.
He kind of name dropped. Well, she kind of name dropped, but it was like a little workaround with it. When they said when she said Wendy Richter, that was to throw everybody off.
Yeah,
everyone knew who she was talking about. Well, everyone knew who she was talking about. It ain't took no scientist. A CEO is coming in on March 13th. But before we get to March 13th, we got to take care of Revolution. ... Now, when they brought up the Stardom past and they brought up the tattoo, kind of sent Tony a little, like you said, rattled and unhinged. He wants to kill the past. Her timeless gimmick has been, I feel like it's her final form as far as character work goes. We've seen this woman's evolution go from, like you brought up, the SWA to NXT UK to the States, which, come on, Triple H, you could have booked her a little bit better while she was in the States in the black and gold. I'm just saying.
I mean, Renee said on her sessions at one point with Toni Storm thought that her passion was snuffed out, but she was just tired, you know? It just wasn't for her. Then she came in AEW against the Bunny. Yeah, Allie, all the best, whatever you choose to do. And, of course, she became an outcast, was champion, became illustrious, didn't win the championship, and then became timeless and has been champion.
Exactly. And it's like, and of course, you have that tease, and you could, of course, do you bring in, of course, what happened in January? Well, towards mid-January, late January, the Virtuosa comes in.
The first of the free agent market. Yep.
And changes the whole landscape of the women's division just that in one night. And it's like, could Tony's days be outnumbered? Especially with the way how Diana has got Tony rattled. But of course, coming into play, let's not forget about Mariah May too. Let's not forget, because the way she's been acting as of late too, of course, she's trying to get Tony to watch her matches, and she's been ducking them for some reason. And that's making her feel like, okay, she could be a threat. Like Tony is like kind of already alluded that Mariah could be a threat to my title as well. But right now, she's my fan, my number one fan.
So it seems.
But So and it's like Mariah is that evil glamour that she keeps portraying herself on AEW television. Oh man, sort of name tease at World's End, and then now you added the Diana's Impact.
Quite literally.
Yeah, shoot.
Let's
You know what?
Let's go ahead and look at this a little further while we also think about this. You talk about big business and why it seems pretty obvious that some money is going to be rolling in quite literally. There's still the unknown of Camille because, again, the phone died. I hate when that happens. And we don't know what the future is for Camille. Another factor, huge in the wrestling business, what she did with the NWA. Nothing but an upside to her. We, of course, had Serena Deeb return, and she's looking for gold. We have Thunder Rosa, who never got her rematch for the AEW World Championship. Faced Toni Storm at the first Forbidden Door as champion when Toni Storm was challenger. The Stardom relationship now could be much more open based on the landscape here in America and in Japan, with Rousey Ogawa now no longer at the helm based on alleged poor business practices that go beyond maybe human rights. We're not going to go there. And then, of course, I got to consider one name that we aren't thinking about at all here that is a huge, maybe afterthought, but also maybe an imminent possibility. DMD, Dr. Britt Baker. It was Deonna Purrazzo that she named that she would love to face. And when she comes back from the injury, you know that's in her crosshairs. Another name to think about is Thekla from Stardom. Haven't heard much about her, but we know that her contract is also running up too. And you said yourself to me she's interested in going to AEW. Similar to what Mariah May did. Mariah May, again, former Stardom Tag Team Champion, 99 matches last year alone in Stardom. Just saying. And she truly is evil glamour because she's a Brit as well. You know, there's charm to Brits and there's also a dark nature. Just ask William Regal. And then another name that also runs through my mind is the really one of the only names I can figure out right now that could literally stop time against a timeless individual. And that's one Jamie Hayter. She has to be due to come back at some point from her injury. And arguably, if she wasn't injured last year, I think it would have been Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter standing and delivering. And that very well could happen in Wembley. I say it once, I'll say it again. I don't think you need to have the best character because Toni Storm, in my opinion, best female character right now in the industry in AEW, period. She doesn't necessarily need the title to try and once again reinvent herself. Chris Jericho's been the definition of that for who knows how damn long. And I think that her and Jimmy Hayter have an underlying story. You talk about Mariah May, her and Mariah May, underlying story. But I think Deonna Purrazzo sets a new precedent, status quo, and opposition to conquer when you have to outbeat her, out-wrestle her, when only literally maybe a handful less than that can literally wrestle the style of the virtuosa. So that being said, King, where does the future AEW Women's World Championship now go from here, in your opinion? Think about all of that.
And of course, let's not forget, Deonna, what just came in, though. That's the thing. She just came in and basically, just like that, was entered to the world title picture.
Undefeated. Rankings are in play. Remember, she came in when the ranking system was reset at the end of January.
That's true.
And is still undefeated. And let me also talk about the impact again. It was the first pay-per-view of her tenure in Impact TNA. Very first stop, Summerverse 2020. She had her first chance, and she won. And it was nothing but upwards 6.
Oh, man. You brought that up, and that's why I have that changed my...
It was all about history, right? Well, how's this for also history? Let me also get your brain going. You know this is the 5th revolution, right? In the company's history?
Oh, yes.
The title has never changed hands.
And guess who could be the one to do it?
Ding, ding.
Yep. I'm gonna kill. I feel like deep down in my heart, it's gonna kill my heart. But a virtuous era is upon us. Deonna Purrazzo is going to take that title off of Toni and is going to lead this charge into the women's division.
And before we move on, I simply have this to say on behalf of my Impact correspondent, Attila. Long may she fucking reign! But I digress. And again, what an incredible story they've told just in the short time she's been there. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't think you push this out with Deonna challenging all the way to Double or Nothing. Could they go Double or Nothing? Absolutely. But here is where the Virtuosa makes her case and puts the bet out on herself and proves that, again, this dream is not a nightmare. It was meant to be a reality. She deserves it. And who knew Stardom could drive a person crazy? Just saying. And again, dude, great run since Full Gear. Come on now. I think she's had some good defenses, some good times. And again, I'm sure she'll still be timeless. But what happens when a Hollywood starlet loses their spot at the top of the marquee, loses the leading role? How do they relapse or recover? You gotta look at the future, bruv. I'm just saying. Either way, you may be looking at two worlds, but you're looking at one at AEW Revolution in black and gold. Long may she fucking reign. But I cannot wait for this fucking match. This arguably might be the most important women's championship match so far this year for me, outside TNA's Jordan, Grace, and Trinity. I digress. No, I don't. I digress. But again, this is women's professional wrestling championship matches of titles and challengers mattering and being different. Damn it. And I don't digress. Okay, that was fun. See, I knew it was going to be friendly. Everyone's like, oh, they're going to tear each other's throats apart. Nah, we're above that. We're much more mature. Can't say the same thing about one of the individuals in this next match, though. We're talking about unhinged. I'm talking about immature behavior, talking about a desperate man trying to hold another man down for the rest of his life. Because once again, the AEW World Championship is in the Hangman's eyes, and it is on the line as the ultimate bringer of order. And I dare you to try to step over this individual and look at him the wrong way. Samoa Joe, he defends the AEW World Championship against Heyman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland after the ranking system went into play, and these two went to a 30-minute draw, and Heyman refused to get Swerve 5 more minutes. Figuring that he pulled a Swerve since Heyman couldn't become the contender. He said it was over for him, but technically it was over for Heyman as well because neither man was the definitive winner. But of course, Madman Tony Khan, he decided to make it a fucking triple threat. I caught it. But we've seen lately how this has really come ahead to more about Swerve and Heyman's bitter, bad blood. They can't get past each other. And Samoa Joe's like, you're not looking past me. I would have been both your asses because I'm Samoa Joe. It's as simple as fucking that. Do I need to say anything else? The story here is, do we finally put Hangman out to rest for the time being when it comes to the AEW World title picture? What do I say all the time when it comes to the outlook of a triple threat match, King? You have a buffer, you have a fall person. One man's never been to the top. The other man's been to that dance. One of these two needs to leave the other if they're going to move forward to become the AEW World Champion. And Samoa Joe, he's the guy you need to beat one-on-one to prove you deserve to be the champion. Your resume, your hunger. Prove your worth. Prove it on your own. Prove it solo. Prove it without anything else on your mind. I'm the only thing you need to try and beat. And then as champion, you need to follow. I know you're all elite, bro, particularly when it comes to divisions we're going to talk about in the proverbial main event, considering what this show's truly about. But here, man, Madam, P.I., Hangman, whatever the fuck you want to call him, he needs to take a back seat away from the AEW World Championship, in my opinion.
And I agree with you. Hangman TA needs to take that back seat because of the fact that he had his run, which, let's be honest, do any of us remember that AEW World Championship run that he had?
I remember some of the matches from it and how he lost it and when he lost it.
But was it memorable? Like was it long reign like a MJF or a Kenny Omega?
No.
Exactly my point. So Hangman TA needs to take a back seat because ever since Swerve defeated that man not once but twice.
Yep.
He has made it out, and he's been on this statement. He's even been on interviews doing press for AEW, and has said this in the following: I will become your first African American AEW World Champion. And he still will be on that mission statement. If you have to have a fall guy and a buffer guy, the fall guy is Hangman. Hangman is going to take that pin. The agenda still remains. Samoa Joe and Swerve, I believe, will happen at Double or Nothing, and that's when Swerve will get his crowning moment at Double or Nothing. But as far as Sunday goes, Joe retains.
Bold statement considering you think you've already set up Swerve to make the history, and Joe basically being the guy he takes it from, which again, to take the title from Joe, that's a whole different story in itself. And again, I don't think the AEW World Championship has looked more legit in its company's history before it was on Samoa Joe's shoulder, even if even if Swerve called out Joe's past job. Damn.
Yeah.
Can't believe he went there. We don't talk about WrestleMania 37. Eesh. Again, Swerve, again, there's no shots fired, all shots fired. But yeah, seriously, Heyman needs to move away from the past and focus on resetting himself. And Swerve, he's looking only forward. But again, he can't move forward if Heyman tries to continue to be a roadblock. So over the triple threats, how you neutralize that, especially since Joe's the one that brought the regular system back in the first place, which already has muttered things up once again. Heck, this thing's ridiculous. But yeah, Samoa Joe's gonna kill a Hangman, or Joe's gonna hang a Hangman. That actually makes more sense now I think about it.
Yeah, it does.
You don't bet against Samoa fucking Joe. Joe wins in Swerve's house, and that's all I gotta say about that. All right. Well, again, we talked about again verbatim. We had a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and get right to the reason why we're here. 2 reasons. 1, it is showtime for the last time on an illustrious career, before we bid the icon farewell and thank you and goodbye into retirement. But we also look towards the nuclear levels of aftermath that could be ahead for the AEW World Tag Team Division. Your boys, but also Sting about as much as I do, probably, if not more. It's all you, King. Take it away from the main event. What the fuck is going to happen here in Sting's last match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships? And it's Tornado Tag, which means anything's going to go off because these 4 crazy yahoos are going to do just that.
Let's go back to Daly's place. AEW Dynamite Homecoming. It was Sting and Darby taking on Konosuke and Hobbs.
And Darby nearly got killed.
Literally.
Jesus
Towards the end of the match, Tony Schiavone interviewed Sting and Darby. And that's when Schiavone asked the question, who do you want to wrestle in your final match at Revolution? And then all of a sudden, we hear the super kick party.
Did not see that coming.
And I'm like, oh, things got interesting here. As Matthew and Nicholas Jackson came out and just stared right into Darby and Sting. Didn't even in the entranceway. Didn't even say a word.
Nope.
And Darby was like, come on, let's go now. And then the Bucks just walked back to the back, and that was the closing of Dynamite. And then, as the weeks progressed, we had Ricky Starks and Big Bill defending the AEW World Tag Team Championship on Dynamite in Phoenix against Sting and Darby Allin. And of course, who was undefeated. And of course, Sting and Darby Allin became our newly won AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Yep.
And as soon as the celebration came aboard, here came Sting's sons along as well, who were at ringside. Well, not really ringside, but in the front row.
Yeah.
And then here came in Sting's sons to celebrate with Sting and Darby. And then all of a sudden, in white suits, here comes the corporate Bucks. Attack Sting's sons from the back with the baseball bat and bloodied Sting and Darby to a pulp. And if the statement wasn't clear, they held up the AEW World Tag Team Championship belts. The statement was made. They want to be a part of Sting's last match for those World Tag Team Championships. And the corporate Bucks have been doing their little shtick with the Succession Light theme. And of course, Matthew Jackson being an impersonation of Tony. Like, let's have a great show, guys. Let's go AEW.
Oh my gosh.
And then, of course, they've been having the little tune-ups on Rampage, as we've seen as of late.
Tune-ups.
Yes, tune-ups.
I'm not going to say anything else.
And then Darby cut the scathing promo on the Bucks, saying, like, I remember this used to be all elite wrestling. Now it's turned into all friends wrestling. You hired you crappy little friends from Rancho Cucamonga, California, while I was still trying to get a job at AEW. And of course, the only real EVP that mattered hired that cared, that truly cared about me and hired me. And I ain't talking about Kenny Omega neither. And that's when Cody chants broke out. And that's when Darby says, so y'all want to be a part of Sting's final match, huh? And then Matthew and Nicholas was like, yeah. So what do you say? And Darby was like, okay, be careful what you wish for. Y'all got it. Me and Sting defend these AEW World Tag Team titles against our Revolution. And then Sting cut that promo to where it said, y'all going to have the fight of your life. The tone he said in that promo was a scary sight to see, in my opinion.
It was throwback Sting.
It was throwback Joker Sting in that tone. Menacing and scary, which we saw alluded to with the red background tonight. But before that, Ric Flair cut a promo and said, I feel like I haven't been much in the spotlight. I'm supposed to be in the spotlight with Sting. I feel like I haven't got much in the spotlight. So he goes up to the Bucks' office. It's like, let's talk. So they have their little talk. And then here we are tonight. Apparently, Ric Flair decided, okay, I tricked you guys.
There is playing the game for a reason.
And that's when Nicholas and Matthew said, we had a plan, Rick. We had a plan, Rick. And then all of a sudden, who comes down from the rafters once again for one last time on this final Dynamite? The icon himself, which the inner kid, I believe in both of us, came out. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that got me. I'm not gonna lie. That got me.
And basically, statement to close out for Sunday. And now here we are, the AEW World Tag Team Championships in Sting's final match, which they're still undefeated, by the way. And what better way to do it in a tornado tag match where basically chaos and anything can happen. Now, this is where this is really going to test to really the tag team division with these belts. I've seen people go about it saying Sting should retire as a champion. But I've also seen that Bucks should basically be the one to take it off of Sting and get that nuclear heat to seal what already heat that they got legitimately. Well, kayfabe legitimately, however you want to call it. I'm going to go on that side. The Bucks take it off of Sting and Darby Allin, and they get that nuclear heat. I know people want to say Sting want to retire as a champion, but if you really want nuclear heat, I'm talking nuclear heat, way worse than Don Callis heat. Bucks beat Sting and Darby for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. They become 3-time.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. But hear me out.
Go ahead.
This show is not about the Young Bucks. This show is not even about what we spent a good point dissecting and portraying the future upon the AEW division regarding this. This show truly culminates, discussed, sold out, and plus sold out later because of one thing and one thing only. The ending of a career, showtime for the last time. And that career is Sting. I just don't think you have Sting go out on his back, even though that would be a first. I think unlike other so-called retirements, you literally have him go out on that stallion, fighting, but winning. Tornado Tag has to protect, I think, the opponents in defeat. And at the end of the day, the Bucks are staying, Darby's staying, and the Bucks are EVPs. What's to stop them from doing a tournament and rigging themselves in it, even though ranking system doesn't matter? It'd be like WWE all over again, Authority trying to uprise. The Authority always wins, Authority 2.0, etc., except without the security detail. It just feels like to me that right now you really want to create an everlasting moment for Sting versus a temporary hatred, what's going to really come down to, for the Young Bucks that are already being questionably behaved as it is and judged by the internet wrestling community. I am going to go on record here and say that I think you end Sting's career with Sting and Darby winning the most important win of their life with Ric Flair. Let's not forget Ric Flair, the greatest player in the game. Ric Flair pulled the rule over the Young Bucks. And why people might think he might do a double turn, I just don't think Ric Flair would do that. I just think there's more to this retirement than the tag team titles. And I don't think the titles should be concerned with the Young Bucks. As I said earlier with my predictions from that tag grudge, you got to imagine the winners of FTR and Blackpool Combat Club are going to set their sights on whoever wins this, because that truly is going to probably make them number one in the rankings. So do you run back FTR and the Young Bucks once again, where rumor has it, where we were talking about, it was FTR that didn't want to put over the Young Bucks.
That is true.
Freaking all in the first place. And they probably have a legitimate reason for that, but that's none of my business. And again, I don't work for the business. I just, again, analyze fans.
But if Sting and Darby do win, and poor Sting being, his last match, do you vacate the AEW World Tag Team Championships and do a tag team tournament like Gold Rush to see who become the new tag team champions?
Either that, or you do impromptu number one contenders, maybe like tournament or some sort, where the winner faces the winner of this match, and the winner of that match becomes the new AEW Tag Team Champions. Bottom line is this. There's one thing we can all agree on. Darby Allin cannot be Tag Team Champion on his own. But this is bigger than the titles. This is the guy that Darby brought back from seeming retirement and said, you still got it. Arguably one of the only, if not the only true friend that Darby Allin has in this business. Sting said himself, there is something extremely familiar about this place. And where do you find Darby? Up in the Raptors with that TNT Championship. In my opinion, the most important thing to Darby is the TNT Championship. But what's more important than that right now is winning with Sting for the last time. I think that Sting and Darby Allin will surprise us, overrule the authority and the shenanigans of the Young Bucks. And I am going to go out here right now and say Sting and Darby retire as tag champs. They lay the towels in the ring. We give the ring and the moment to Sting, and we say thank you. From Joker to the Crow to the Icon to TNA to WCW to that short moment in WWE and the NWO confrontation with DX, which is literally just a spot monkey showcase, older spot monkey showcase.
Yeah.
To the resurgence of arguably the second best part of his career next to TNA, freaking AEW. And yes, I know he was involved in NJPW. I know he was involved in other companies too, but let's just look at what we know from our fandom of what the biggest points are. WCW, TNA, AEW. Truly the biggest points of his career. TNA literally just put out a video of Sting's entire career in TNA. I suggest you go watch it. Great stuff. I just can't see Sting losing, and I don't want to. I know Darby could be the fall guy because he's the crash test dummy, but I just don't think the Young Bucks need the tag titles right now in consuming this authority role, because power goes to Mantet. They're already EVPs. Why do the EVPs need the tag gold? It'd be different, I think.
True.
At the end of the day, I'm not looking for a Triple H or Vince McMahon superiority complex. I'm looking for a sincere farewell moment to Sting. And at the end of the day, your Young Bucks were young Stingers as well as all of us. I think Sting deserves it, and I'm going out of them right now. I don't care if it costs me the point. It's official from me personally, and I'm sticking to it, and I'm keeping it short, sweet, and simple, no DQ, because no DQ has an audience of half buffoons and half people that care about All Elite Wrestling too. I say Sting and Darby win and leave and end the night with Sting last hurrah as a champion. And then Sting says farewell as Showtime concludes for the last time. Bottom line is this, King. I think truly Revolution is going to tell us once and for all we are going to finally, in the words of the AEW mission statement, restore the feeling. But I do know this. I have a feeling that Revolution is going to be extremely special and it's going to set up a whole lot more big business to come. And I'm not simply talking about March 13th, which, might I add, is 1 week following when we're supposed to get a new logo, a new set, and maybe a brand new outlook, the AEW landscape. Truly, only time will tell. And our time is just literally 4 days away. But that being said, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the AEW View on this night, whether you watched it during the day or during your night, as we prepare for, again, an honorable and impactful Ring of Honor and double dose, of course, of TNA. Before we leave, King, any closing thoughts before we conclude, and where can people connect with you?
Oh, man, always good, a pleasure with you, my good bro, always. Oh, man, Revolution, folks, I believe it's going to be an all-timer show. I mean, like he said, it's going sold out plus sold out. So if you haven't got your tickets already, I believe it's at 100 plus 155 ticket slips. So go ahead and get your tickets now while you still can to see Sting's last match. As we bid farewell to an icon. Y'all can follow me on Twitter. I don't call it X. Y'all can still Twitter. You'll follow me on basically AM. He brought it up. AMT in the Roman numeral 23 and the number 23. Same as usual. Follow me on Instagram with the dot, not the whole thing, just after the dot, and then the 23. Threads. I don't really mess with threads like that, but you can follow me on there too if you want.
Yeah, fair enough. Again, man, always a pleasure. And again, we got a lot of professional wrestling going on because all the professional wrestling. Damn it. Yeah, sports entertainment. But I will say sports entertainment, at least this year, is far more compelling. So we'll see what happens. But again, this week, it's all about All Elite Wrestling. But first, we got the Ring of Honor tournament continuing and the fallout from TNA No Surrender, where Moose and Grace were able to retain their titles as well as the ABC, new tag champs in the Knockouts division. And we trust in Ali and reset the X division. And we'll see if he truly makes it greater. It was already great. We'll see how much greater it can be. And good luck to all 8 of these women as 8 become 4 as we continue to see who will become the first Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion. And who dares to step up to Athena next as the Supercar of Honor has to start shaping out. But yes, AEW Revolution this Sunday. Cannot wait. I will be on the call, of course, alongside James Ebert. James and I are back in the seat. It's going to be extremely fun with them as we call AEW Revolution. Thank you all for tuning in to this interview Impromptu. Until next time, you know what to do, for I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! Where I only wish to constantly encourage you that there are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, trust your families, and just enjoy life. And enjoy professional wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. I'll be on the panel with no DQ. Half idiots, half intelligent, half interested, half buffoons, half entertaining, half kind. Again, no DQ, it is what it is. They're all right, though. They're cool people. And again, I'll be back with simply predicting, of course, this Friday night, 8 p.m. Standard Time for AEW Revolution. And that is when the All Elite Forum will officially begin come the end of that Super Predicting panel. Stay tuned for that forum, brother. And until next time, guys, as always, on behalf of the entire W crew, we thank all of you. We'll see you next time after we see how we restore the feeling or change the landscape in and out of AEW. But until next time, we come back virtually on your screens too, and random discussion and leading pay-per-view predictions too. Make a positive impact in life and have a good night, for we are ATW. Have a good night, folks, and thank you again in advance. Sting, one last time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sting, one last time.
Have a good night, folks.